Welcome back to my documentary, y'all. I left you guys on a cliffhanger on the last episode. On this episode, let's dig a little deeper why I was kicked out and find out more on how I made it to waste management. We're going to start off with my good friend Cindy.
So I was actually one of the keynote speakers at graduation, and I was the valedictorian at that time. We came from a very small class of students who were eligible to actually promote and graduate from high school. There weren't that many male students in our graduating class. First off, it was probably at least 80 of us in the total class, and I would approximate that 20 of them were the male students, and half of them were actually eligible to graduate. Bernard was one of them that I saw succeed in many facets of his life, and I was so happy for him. But when he told me before graduation that he was not going to be there, I was very disappointed, and I felt the pain of what it would have meant to him if he was actually able to be there and walk across the stage. So when I heard his name being announced by Smuggler, our principal, it made me feel a little bit of myself, where I wish he was present to be able to know so many people supported him and we actually loved him. And I just wish he was able to hear all the applause that we gave when he wasn't there.
So the reason why me and my older sister Bernadette was kicked out right after I graduated, my mom's husband, he labeled as the Oakland kids, so he didn't want us to be around his daughters. So they ended up moving to Fairfield. My mom switched Section 8 to me and my sister, but that didn't kick in until like 6 months down the road. And my older sister, she was pregnant with my nephew. She had it a little worse than I did because she was sleeping in the car, and I tried living with my uncle and I couldn't get a hold of him until like 2 weeks later. Once I started living with him, I was sleeping on his couch. He was calling my dad. My dad didn't pick up for like a month and a half or whatever. He finally picked up, and then my uncle was like, "I'm kicking him out because you need to take responsibility of your own kid." So my uncle ended up kicking me out, and then I ended up living with my dad. The house that my dad had was his girlfriend at the time. She had 14 cats and like 3 dogs living inside the house, so I didn't feel comfortable living there. So I ended up getting a part-time job at a grocery store, and I ended up getting a car. And then a lot of times when my dad was drinking with his girlfriend, like passed out, I used to just sleep in the car because I didn't feel comfortable in there because I have asthma and stuff. So it was not a good place for me to like actually be at. And I told my dad I was at my friend's house sleeping over, and I was actually like sleeping in my car and stuff. And some nights I did sleep with my friends' houses, bouncing house to house.
Last time I saw Bernard was maybe a few months out. We talked on the phone about his situation, how the stuff he's went through, being able to fend for himself, lived on his own for a little bit until he actually got his own place.
The Section 8 finally switched over, and then me and my sister got the spot in Oakland. While all that was happening, I didn't hear anything from my stepdad. He didn't check up on us. He wouldn't allow me and my older sister to go visit my little sister. By the time all that was happening, my mom had breast cancer. She was going through her chemo and stuff, and then I started trying to reach out to her, like trying to hang out with me and my mom. It ended up not showing up like twice, and I didn't talk to my mom for about like a good 8 years, and I ended up getting my commercial license. I started saving up money. I worked at a beer company for a while, and then once I got that, I kept applying for waste management. They kept denying me for like at least a year and a half. So I ended up getting my own spot at the age of 20. So I was kind of excited because I got my own spot. My sister doing her thing, I'm doing my thing, and then it was all good. So once I got my own spot, my stepbrother got into crack. I didn't really hear from him after that. I started working at Cisco Foods. I didn't really like that place.
When he was working at Cisco, man, he was working at Cisco because he worked his ass off. Like he was, I remember him being super tired. His eyes bloodshot red, so like you could tell he was being overworked there. Or And then when Bernard told me he got into waste management, I was very happy for him because I knew he really wanted to work for that organization. So I was excited for him.
And I kept applying like nonstop for like 2 years straight, and I finally got the call at Waste Management. I was so excited for the interview, and I finally got it. And I was telling all my friends, I finally got the interview, blah blah blah. And then I did good on the interview. I didn't do good on the walk around, and Waste Management didn't call me for like a good month and a half. And if it wasn't for Ruben actually talked to the supervisor, then they finally called me the next morning. And then he was telling him he doesn't call in sick. He's not the type of employee that calls in sick. He wants to work every single day. He wants to be a garbage man. So they finally gave me a call. I finally got the call, and I got hired at Waste Management. And then once I got hired, I trained about 73 people, and only like 8 of them didn't pass probation. So it was a good pickup for Waste Management.
It's like good to see that even till this day, like his past and all the stuff that we went through didn't define him. Like he's been able to, you know, move out, be stable, be independent, and it's not a common thing. You would think that that's something you're supposed to do when you grow up, but no. A lot of people still live at home with their parents. So to know that he had a really bad past and that he's still doing it and killing it as a grown-up is pretty admirable to see. I'm not gonna lie.
Done quite well for himself, from being, you know, homeless, with what he's doing now with his career, with his, you know, photography, flying these drones like a pro. So he's come far and above where he's at from when he was homeless. So
There were times where he feels like a loner and he kind of excludes himself a lot from his family and friends. And I don't blame him for that. I think it was a lot of his childhood. But I think that that's how he's grown so much to be as an independent person and as a young man. And I just hope he understands that a lot of people admire and value how hard he's worked his whole life to be where he's at today.
But just hearing about it now and seeing where he's at right now, like I'm very proud of him. Like he worked his ass off to get out of that situation, and now he's in a situation where he's just thriving.
If it wasn't for my childhood friends, my high school friends, my teammates, my coworkers, my old coworkers, my small family that I do have, and everybody else, you guys made me who the person I am today, and I thank you for everybody for helping me grow as a man.
No, that doesn't make sense.
I got a blooper, so you keep fucking up. It's all on you.
Cancel that. I met Bernard in 2007.
Where was you July 15, 1984?
I wasn't even born.
Alright, when did you first meet Bernard?
This is so awkward. Okay.
When did you first meet Bernard?
when did I first meet Bernard? Now you're gonna really have to let me think about these questions first, so I can remember. I really don't remember.
Just waiting for my question.
Okay. How would you describe Fremont High School?
So I met Bernard during, oh, let me swear over. Why I say during for? Cancel that shit. Right. I met Bernard during, I gotta stop saying during. Right.
I'm gonna make you laugh a lot too.
Oh my god. I'm so nervous. I don't know why.
I know, like once the camera's on.
Yeah,
I mess up a lot too. I'm like, oh shit.
Around 11th grade or so. Around my 11th grade, I wanted to.
And then we had this big old persona, like he would come out and shoot us with a shotgun, and when we did it, we gotta cut it off.
Can't represent it any more than that, and you gotta be proud from Oakland. I mean, it's truly one of the best towns to be at.
Yeah.
Yee.
Okay, hold on. Oh, see? When did I meet you? Okay, so 10th grade.
Just him telling me his, scrap that one.
You can.
Pause it.
Alright.
Let me get my giggles out. I keep saying his. What should I say to replace that?
Yeah. Oh, so I remember actually a point in 9th grade. Bernard, I remember that specifically. Like, Bernard was raw. He had like a good couple of games where he was getting interceptions. Naya! Hey! What are you trying? Cut. I was about to get into a good part. What happened? You wanna go watch TV? You want sissy?